Lots to talk about tonight on the Postgame show. Happy Oil Country. Everybody enjoyed what they saw tonight down at Rogers Place. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream Postgame show. The Edmonton Oilers 6-2 winners over the Vancouver Canucks. A very satisfying win if you're an Oiler fan, and if you're in Canuck land, a rough pre-Friday for you, unfortunately. Tom Gazzola with you. Hernan Salas back at EST Global HQ on the city's west end. I'm coming at you from the satellite studios in beautiful downtown Edmonton. Of course, we highly encourage you to get in on the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. You can also get into the nasty chat and let us know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, as we're going to break down the Oilers' victory over Vancouver, totally redeeming themselves after Saturday's loss to the Canucks, and they nip the losing streak in the bud. You can't even really call it a streak. They lost 2 straight. First time that had happened in regulation since early November, and they do avoid 3 straight losses with a very convincing 6-2 win. All right. Hernan, before I get you on, I will mention that GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Nancito, let's get your thoughts on tonight's Oilers victory.
Oh boy, I almost forgot to turn on my mic. Welcome to the Worm Show.
My goodness.
What a performance by Mr. Corey Perry. You're seeing the 3 stars there. I don't know how he wasn't one. I mean, it's always usually based just on points. I get it, but the Worm came out, the Corey Perry that everybody hates, that we hated here in Edmonton for a long time, Tommy.
Exactly.
He came out and did his thing. He's got Vancouver media and fans up in arms and very upset right now. But
oh, really?
A full effort, but just go on the X machine, man.
I'm afraid
of a full effort by the Oilers, top to from start to finish. 5-on-5 game was the lead. Early on, it was the Edmonton Draisaitl's, a brilliant pass. He's just fantastic. And then you got secondary scoring. A guy you said, Tommy, Henrique needed to step up. He did. Nugent Hopkins stepped up as well. The power play. Did they get actually credit for a power? Yeah, 2 power play goals. They stepped up. It was just all, for me, an all-around solid effort, a great bounce back. This was a team that, years ago probably doesn't win this game, but you're seeing the maturity of this team that, 2 straight losses are like, we're not losing this one. And they were the better team, like I said, from start to finish. A lot of great performances. My guy, Jeff Skinner, getting some power play time, had 3 great looks. He just can't buy one. But all in all, Tom, I mean, if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan, you got to be happy with this bounce back. Another solid game by Calvin Pickard. When they scored that second one, you got a little bit of flashbacks to game 1 last year, but then, you know what? You're like, the way the Oilers came out in the third, you knew they were going to finish this one off. So kudos to the Edmonton Oilers. Hell of a game without Connor McDavid. Hell of a bounce back. And for Edmonton Oilers fans, I hope you're happy, because this is the best way to respond to all the noise this week, is with a butt kicking of a rival. So kudos to the Edmonton Oilers, Tom.
Now, classic Corey Perry night, like you outlined, Hernan. It was kind of fun to watch that. And now I get it. Like, all those years, like you said, people here hating him. And now you see it, and he's doing it in orange and blue, and people here were appreciating it. The best one, I tweeted it out, and people were loving it. But that pile after Garland gets a little stick on Pickard, and then Perry, I think he went after, I can't remember who the first guy was that he kind of went after. Then he saw Pettersson, and then he's like, oh no, there's Quinn Hughes. I'm going to go take him, and I'm going to slam him to the ground. And I think that was kind of, if you're, again, on the Oilers side of things, you're like, yep, there you go. That's exactly what we'd like to see. He hit on all the right notes tonight, if you're a fan of the orange and blue. So a classic Corey Perry night. Well said, Hernan, Salas. All right, keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. Matt Kassian will be joining us shortly, our game analyst, as the Oilers defeat the Canucks 6-2. They win the season series 2-1. And let's go into the scoring summary, of course. Edmonton opens things up. Zach Hyman, 552 in his 16th of the year. He's got the half visor on again. That nose healed up enough after having it shattered off of a Bush bomb. Felt like forever ago, a month and a half ago, something like that. Draisaitl and Arvidsson, the helpers on Hyman's 16th. Then, later in the period, on the power play, it would be Leon Draisaitl, his 35th of the season. He is on fuego from Hyman and Nugent Hopkins. 2-zip oil at 14:21. 20 seconds later, on the very next shift, Adam Henrique off the Ekholm backhand, Karam off the back wall. Henrique tucks it past Thatcher Demko. Corey Perry picking up the secondary assist at 14:41. 3-0 Oilers in the second period. Just a minute 59 in. Zach Hyman off a Noah Philp pass, his 17th of the year, second of the night for Hyman. Good forecheck by Perry to kind of get things started, creates the turnover. Philp gets it kind of off the side in the slot. And then Hyman going to the net, stick on the ice, kids. Remember that. He redirects it past Thatcher Demko at 1:59. Then on the power play, it was the other one where it was winding down. But Nugent Hopkins scores his 13th of the year on the power play, like I mentioned, at 12:02 from Draisaitl and Bouchard to make it 5-0. However, 25 seconds later, it would be Brock Besser, an absolute laser of a shot. He goes far side glove on Calvin Pickard, his 16th goal of the year from JT Miller and Pius Suter to make it 5-1. Before the period was up at 15:06, Philip Hronik, his second goal of the year from Hughes and Besser, would cut the lead to 3. But the Oilers weathered the storm. They were solid defensively. And then eventually at 10:21, Kasperi Kapanen would put home his own rebound and scores 6th of the season from Ty Emberson, who made a strong play at the Oilers' blue line, knocking the puck off of Carlson. I think he took Carlson down as well, fired it up. I actually think that Carlson was the one who fired it up the wall when I was watching that goal, but they gave Emberson the assist, his 8th. Make it at 6-2 at 10:21. That was how the scoring would wind up. Shots on goal, 34-26. Face-offs, 56.7% to 43.3. The power play for the Oilers, 2 for 4. PK got the night off because Edmonton did not have to go on the kill at all. Hits, 25-19. Block shots, hits in favor of the Canucks, by the way. Block shots, 13-12 in favor of the Canucks. Giveaways, 9-9. Takeaways, 6 for Edmonton, 3 for Vancouver. The final, though, 6-2. Matt Kassian standing by. We're going to get to him right away. But first, we're going to get into the Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro using the same locker room approach, trusted by the best in the game. And your Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy turning point of the game came at 12:02 and 12:27. Or pardon me, it was 1:59 and 12:02. I'm getting crossed up, Cass. It's here. 14:21 and 14:41 in the first period. The 2-0 and 3-0 marker. Apologies for that. I know there was a couple of sequences that we saw condensed goals in, but it's the one at 14:21 from Draisaitl and the one at 14:41 from Henrique that would make it 2-0 and 3-0 for the Oilers. And I think that kind of paved the way. Edmonton would build up a 5-0 lead before Besser would score 25 seconds after Nugent Hopkins made it 5-0. But you knew that the Oilers kind of were cruising when they scored 20 seconds apart in that first period. Draisaitl, then Henrique. That is your Advantage Sports Medicine turning point of the game. Let's get Matt Kassian in here with our breakdown brought to you by South Fort Chev. Reserve your 2025 Equinox tracks and Traverse now. They won't last long. They've also got the best discounts on 2025 Silverados and won't be beat. See dealer for details at www.southfortchev.com. Cass, a very pleasant night in oil country. What did you like most about the Oilers' performance tonight?
Yeah, I really liked their defensive game, and we talked about that heading in, but I thought they did an excellent job of keeping the Vancouver Canucks to the outside. Like they protected the middle of the ice, didn't allow Vancouver free reign, and they just did a really good job in their own end. Like no big slip-ups tonight. I know Vancouver gets the 2 goals, but as a whole, just a rock-solid night defensively, and I think that led to them being able to produce some offense too. So it was, you get the offense, you get the lead, and they just didn't give Vancouver really a sniff. I know maybe some Canucks fans were like, "Oh, there was hope." No, there wasn't really any hope. They snuffed that out. So a great job defensively by the Oilers tonight would be my number one.
Cass, I think young Oiler fans who didn't see Corey Perry in his heyday in Anaheim now understand why people hate him so much. That's what I was thinking in the press box tonight. What would you say about 90 in orange and blue?
Yeah, he may not be as prolific as he once was, but boy, did you hate his guts playing against him. Like just a rat, but a good rat. Like again, not at the same level he was back in my day, but he drives people nuts. Still knows how to do it. Still knows how to get in people's heads, and it's great. It's fun. And it added some flavor to the game, guys. Did it not?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there people in the Nasty Chat cast are forgiving him for 2017. That's how much they love Corey Perry now. So, I mean, a guy took a 10-minute misconduct on him. A guy dropped the gloves. He ate 2 punches to even it up because they were going to get a power play. He in the scrum, very smartly goes and grabs Quinn Hughes and pile drives him into the ice. You couldn't ask for a better hat trick. I mean, you look at Vinny D, he had a hat trick too, but of penalties. And Corey Perry, I think he earned a lot more fans tonight. Because remember in the offseason, boys, when the Oilers signed him, a lot of people were saying, why? This is why. He knows how to pick his spots. He knows how to read the game. And he is one of the best at it still.
Just greasy. And I love it. Greasy.
780-218-9999. The response tonight, Cass, it did get a little bit gnarly out there, and I actually was all for it. Were you surprised that it did kind of spill over? Because I know a lot of us were thinking these teams aren't getting too crazy. The league said something to them. Everybody was downplaying it, but it did end up getting a little bit gnarly, and I kind of appreciate that.
Yeah, I was surprised it took so long. Really, the second the Oilers were up 3, I was like, "Oh, this is like we're gonna see it now." Like everyone was kind of under control, wanting to win the hockey game, and the Oilers after they popped those 2 quick ones, I was like, "Okay, now it's time." And it still took a little bit to get there, but I'm here for it. I'm happy it did. Again, added a good amount of flavor to the game, and who knows if we see them in the playoffs? If they play like that, probably not. But I mean, hey, I love the Oilers' pushback. Perry was being Perry. They didn't get pushed around, and they were involved in all of that, which was awesome. It was fun. Janmark, your boy, he was in it.
Oh, my boy, mixing it up. He got a coincidental at one point. That was fantastic, I suppose. Let's get to the inbox here, 780-218-9999 as the Oilers defeat the Vancouver Canucks 6-2. You can also get into the Nasty Chat. We're keeping tabs on both. Let's go to Janias. Says Janias here. I guess you could simply say Vinny Picky for the Winnie. Looking like Vin's never left the Oilers organization. All in all, fantastic win. Proud of our whole team's effort. Really loving Perry. So smart. If anything, a Hyman Hattie would have been nice. Has any Oilers scored a Hattie this season? We haven't had a hat trick this year, have we? Off the top of our heads. Do you recall one this year?
No, I don't.
A bunch last year.
No, I don't. I thought he was going to get it too on that. I thought he had it, but goes off the knob of Thatcher Demko's stick. No, I don't think so, guys. I don't think we've seen a Hattie.
No, I
That's
don't
a good
recall
question,
one.
Tom. I'm sure one of the Nazis will know.
I don't think we've had one.
No.
Yeah.
Not at home, at least. Because you'd remember the hats flying and all that, right? So, interesting.
Okay, let's go to Hampton Steve. Here's an interesting one. It says, good evening, gentlemen. An early confession on my part. I was not a fan of the Oilers re-signing Perry in the summer for the amount they did. I was wrong. Perry put on a rat masterclass tonight and earned every cent of his contract. I'm glad to be done with the Canucks and their fan base until next preseason. I sent Irf Gaffar a little note, said good luck, be strong on the post-game show with Jeff Patterson tonight. I think he's going to be okay. Cass, the win in Vancouver for the Canucks on Saturday kind of gave them a spark, and then they go and they lose to Buffalo, blow that one. Then they come in here. This is supposed to be a big game, and they get stomped ultimately. Like, I'm looking at Brock Besser right now. They're showing his post-game highlights. And his presser, and he's like, he has that 1,000-mile stare.
Yeah.
Are they toast?
They don't have answers. Yeah. They don't have answers, and they look. They're going to be forced to have to move what looks like JT Miller, which you're not getting back. I don't care if you make a good trade. You could try to make a good trade. Generally, when you trade for those players, you're not getting it back. Right, like you're just not. So they'll be worse off from an overall skill standpoint. But you got to do something as an organization. You're falling apart, and it did look like maybe you had a little bit of a spark. Maybe guys were going to play for one another. Maybe you were going to get something going, and then the last two games just kind of cemented it. And I think that 1,000-mile stare is a result where you just don't have any answers. You know it's going to be the same questions. You know you didn't play well enough. You know you got stomped.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to answer for it, and you don't have anything left to say at this point. Like, what is there left to say for the Vancouver Canucks? Just nothing right now. They got nothing.
Is this the game, though, where, like, tomorrow we're all getting ready for our shows, going to work, and then, boom, Vancouver drops that bomb that they've traded JT Miller? Because
it might be.
They did lose to the worst team in the league on Tuesday night, 3-2. Yeah. And then tonight, in fairness, they lose to a very good team, but the effort wasn't there. It's one of those things where I'm almost expecting, guys, tomorrow we're going to hear some trade news.
It wouldn't shock me. I mean, it's like the straw that breaks the back.
Right? Yeah.
Right. Like where they're just hanging on, and then this might be the one that just breaks them, or forces their hand to have to do something, because it's ugly for them. And it wasn't, for what I said about Edmonton defensively, and I think Edmonton did play really well defensively. Vancouver did a very, very poor job of getting anything to the front of the net. How often did we see a secondary chance, or even the possibility of a secondary chance in front of Pickard? Like, there wasn't any there.
Right.
Like, I don't want to say it was an easy game for Pickard, but it kind of was. Like, he had to make some exterior saves. But there was nothing, where it was like chaos and scrambles and opportunities that he had to dive for. And like, Vancouver did not battle that game. Like, they didn't have battle. Edmonton did, and they had some physical battle, sure, like with the scrums and the nastiness, but in terms of 5-on-5 play, they didn't have the oomph to them. And it could be what makes the Vancouver Canucks pull the trigger on a trade.
And guys, just keep in mind, so the last two wildcard spots, Colorado's 58, Calgary won again, they're at 55. Vancouver's falling behind here.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to make 8-10 points up in 2 months. Like, you have to go on a bit of an unreal heater, and you got to hope some of these teams start to fall off, because it's crazy for me to see how far Vancouver's falling back, and they might not recover from this, trade or not, guys.
Well, I'll throw this into what Cass was saying. In the Oilers zone, one and done, but it just felt like, too, Edmonton was uncontested breaking into Vancouver zone all night long. Just no gaps, too easy, and Edmonton kind of had its way, which, again, if you're watching the Oilers and you're a fan of the Oilers, you're going, hey, fantastic night. All right, Cass, were there any guys tonight that you were pleasantly surprised with their performance, their grit, bounce back, whatever? Was there anyone that stood out to you that's usually not a guy we talk much about?
Vinny Desharnais for the Edmonton Oilers.
Boy.
Can we pick him?
Yep.
He helped him out. Yeah. Did he ever? You know what? I'm gonna go with a guy I thought it's not even like he played a million minutes, but I liked his game tonight. I liked Ty Emberson's game tonight. I know he gets an assist, but I thought he had a really solid night. And he's consistently kind of starting to play a few more minutes and get a few more looks, which is a good thing for a young guy. And we forget that sometimes. It's not like he's got 200 games in the league under his belt. I really liked his game tonight. I thought he was solid. I thought Ty Emberson had a good game, still physical, still around it a bunch, and gets the assist, which was big for him too. Happy for him to get that. So I'm gonna pick Ty Emberson as a pleasant surprise for the evening.
That's 76th career game for Ty Emberson.
He's really coming into his own, man. And the great thing about the Oilers, well, it's easy when you're up by so much, but only one player over 20 minutes for the forward group, no one under 10. And then Ekholm fourth on ice time for defenseman. He only played 17 minutes, guys, and that's perfect. What you can do when you're up, right? Hey, old guy, you play a lot for us. We're gonna dial back your minutes a bit here and let the young Ty Emberson eat up some of those. So,
that's a good point, Hernan, and I kind of want to get to this too. A guy that we've been all over, and for good reason, has been Evan Bouchard. Did he pick it up? I think everybody, had a generally good game tonight, but did we see some good signs from Evan Bouchard tonight?
Hard to say because of the lead, right? Hard to say because of the lead. But he had a couple looks. I was really hoping he would score on that one little tap back. I think it was Draisaitl that bumped it back to him, and he had a chance to rip it. Almost went in, kind of squeaked through. I was hoping that one would go in and just give him some boost. Score a good goal 5-on-5. But he was solid tonight too. I mean, he's struggled so many times at so many points this year, but he's been really good at points too. Like, let's not forget there have been games and there have been times when Evan Bouchard has been pretty solid. So I don't know if tonight is a night where I'm like, well, he's back. We're getting playoff Bouch here. Not ready for that yet, but it was a really good night for him.
Evan Bouchard, if you're wondering, picked up an assist, +1. Led the defense in ice time, 22-29, 2 shots, 2 giveaways, and that was a Bouchard stat line on the night. I'm just checking to see if any forwards played more than him. Nope. Next closest was Leon Draisaitl at 21:55. Let's go into the inbox, 780-218-9999. Hit us up in the nasty chat, of course. Edmonton 6-2 winners over Vancouver. I didn't see any fights. Also, I got the scoop on the nacho guy.
Okay,
I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to read a couple texts, and then I'm going to get the scoop on the nacho guy. Scoop, get it? Oh, Prince of Fun. Let's go to Stanley in YYC. Says, hello, gents. Good bounce back win after 2 frustrating games. 90 managed to worm his way through the Canucks bench in that third period. Just took any momentum from them. Good to see some guys from last game that didn't have good games actually step up. And Cass, that's something you brought up earlier, and so did Hernan on the pregame show. Have a good night, guys. Stanley in YYC. Shaggy in St. Albert coming at us says, glad I was wrong that they were going to lose all 3 with McDavid out. Draisaitl steps up when McDavid is not in the lineup. Disparity in number of power plays, 4-0, is a little fishy. NHL trying to make up for the debacle on Saturday night. Like that, Oilers took a few shots at Hughes as a little bit of payback for McDavid. Oh, yeah, and Bouchard, too. If they go 2-1 in these games, we'll be happy. Should be a win against Buffalo, but Oilers do make it difficult on themselves. So don't step off the pedal. We'll see if they ruin my Saturday night. I know it is an afternoon game, usually stew in a loss for at least 24 hours. Shaggy in St. Albert. A good thing to discuss that Shaggy brings up, the disparity in power plays, 4 for Edmonton, 0 for Vancouver. Guys, what did we see there? Go ahead, whoever wants to take it.
Well, Vancouver would have had 1, but they let Corey Perry worm his way in, as the tech said, into their whole bench, right, where he suckers them kind of back out of it. So, I mean, listen, is the NHL trying to be like, look, we can just call this? Because really Vancouver didn't do enough, and we talked about that in the interior of the ice. Like, they didn't draw any penalties. Right. They didn't play very well. They didn't earn them. But I don't have my faith restored in the officiating yet at this point.
Thank you.
I don't think you guys probably do either, but
Not
maybe
at
they're
all.
going to point to this and be like, look, it happens. Although I don't believe them.
Fellas, I got the worm post game. Should we go to him?
Yeah, I think
do
that's
it.
very apropos. Let's hear from Corey Perry.
Here he is.
The team went about its business tonight.
I thought we were dialed in right from the start. It was all business for us. I mean, 2 points is what was at stake, and I thought, coming out and getting those early goals really set the table for the rest of the game.
Is this a vintage Corey Perry game?
I was just playing hockey. That's all I was doing out there.
How's Miller doing? Did you have a good chat?
Yeah, it was. I just asked him what he had for dinner, and how's everything going? So that was it.
Hyman takes the bubble off. If you can see straight again or what, but a couple of goals from him. Just maybe a thought on the goal scoring from him.
Yeah, I mean, he's played great for us, even when he had the bubble on. But he's a horse out there, and I thought we played well together as a line tonight and contributed everywhere and right off of each other. But I mean, he's got that power and that scoring touch, and he showed on that first goal.
We've seen you fight, and then we saw you tonight choose not to fight. How do you make that decision? What goes into that?
Well, I mean, there's time and a place, and I just felt the time and the place wasn't right now, and so it's I don't know. They had 12 guys coming after me on one shift there. It felt like, but it's it's part of the game, and it is what it is.
Was this kind of the best response to what happened on Saturday? Like, was this an Edmonton Oilers response, like a 6-2 win, offense, power play type of?
Yeah, it was great. It was a great game for us. We found a way to put the puck in the back of the net tonight and capitalize on our chances. And there's nothing really. I don't know what you media hyped this game up so much that I don't know what you guys thought was going to happen, but it was just another hockey game.
Your gamesmanship, the way you sort of manage your emotions and maybe the emotions of your opponent sometimes out there, is that calculated or is it just instinct?
It's just free will, and as I go, I don't know. It's just the way I play the game and the way I always have played the game, and it's fun when you're winning. That's for sure.
Was there anyone that was really good at that you learned it from?
Oh God, I played with some
mentor.
I don't know. I played with some good players and some sneaky players, and I don't know where it came from, but it's it's there.
Did you play that way when you were junior?
I'm pretty sure if you go back and watch some tapes, if they have tapes, it might be on tape actually.
Kid has it too.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of it in him, and he can't teach that thing.
All right, the worming in the post-game presser. So many lies there. Yes, we hyped it up because that game ended up being exactly what we wanted and hoped for. There were moments where, animosity boiled over. There was a lot of goals. These two teams showed everybody why they're rivals. And so he totally lied there. And then the other one was he just had a great chat with JT Miller at the end of the second period, and all he wanted to know was how he was doing. What did you have for dinner? Veal parm, by the way. Cass, thoughts on what he had to say, and then I'm sure you've had a few conversations after an intermission or going into an intermission. Are you just asking where you're going for the Four Nations face-off or what you had for dinner? Take us inside those moments.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100% what you're asking. And
now you're worming.
I don't doubt that the answer was, well, I had sushi because everyone comes to Alberta for the sushi.
Exactly.
So they found a good sushi spot, and he's like, yeah, it was good. It's good. Your dinner was good. Yeah, not feeling sick. No, I'm good. You ready for Four Nations? Yeah, I feel pretty good. Probably going to go get some sunshine. Mm-hmm. That's the exact type of things you always talk about. No one ever says anything else. I mean, it's pleasant conversation all the time, Tom. It's pleasant conversation. Yeah.
Tommy, I like this one from K-Dubs. The worm was wiggling around some of those questions.
Oh, that's a good one.
There you go.
Yes, he was. I've enjoyed that post-game presser, but he had himself a night, guys. Perry, if you're looking at his stat line, obviously super effective, giving it to Quinn Hughes. I'm watching it now. I watched it doing live. I'm like, oh, he's going for Pettersson. Oh, wait, no, he went and found Hughes and dumps him. That was perfectly played. And then now they're showing the conversation. He's not backing down from JT Miller, asking about that Alberta Sushi cast, like you pointed out. Perry finished up with an assist, +3, 2 penalty minutes, 14:29 time on ice, with 1 shot on goal. I would say he had a hell of a night, that Corey Perry, showing us why the Oilers decide to keep him around. Okay, let's get to a couple more texts, and we'll get a look ahead from Cassian. So do we have any more audio to get to?
We have the best player in the NHL right now.
Leon Draisaitl? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll rattle off a couple texts, and we'll go to Draisaitl, get some final thoughts from Cass, and then Reed Wilkins will be joining us a little bit later on. He worked the room. He was asking Perry some stuff in there. We'll hear from Reed after we hear from Cass and his wrap on tonight, looking ahead to Buffalo Saturday. Mary texted in. Hello, Twitter Mary. She says, Desharnais deserved a star for all those penalties. Perry deserved a star too. He might not be earning his pay on the score sheet, but he is definitely worth the contract by being the gritty a-hole that Edmonton needs, says Twitter Mary. Good text, Mary. Appreciate that one. Mike in Thunder Bay chiming in. Mike in Thunder Bay says, this Oilers team is so fun to watch. That was a lot of fun, a real fun win. Pickard with a .923 save percentage. We might as well make him make him the starter of Fire Skater at the Sun. Am I commentating on the goalies like a proper Oilers fan? So obviously Mike at Thunder Bay is joking, taking a shot there at those that get very, very particular. Leon is such a beast, says Mike in Thunder Bay. Over 11 points in the 5 games without McDavid. Who needs that goon anyway? So very cheeky text from Mike in Thunder Bay. And then Dirty Curdy says, mature win. Perry played them like a fiddle. Picks with run support against, again, best street hockey game ever from Dirty Curdy. I'm trying to read it like I'm interpreting it from how people are texting these in. 780-218-9999. Edmonton with the 6-2 win. Nasty chat, do your thing. And let's go inside the Oilers locker room one more time and hear from the best player in the NHL this year, Leon Draisaitl.
Most about the way your team handled this game.
I think our composure, the way that we kept playing, even though they had their little push in the second period, but I thought we handled it fairly well. And then in the third, we didn't give up much. It's kind of a scrambly period there with all the 4-on-4 going on, but all around I thought it was a good effort by us.
When you mentioned the word composure, did you also like how you didn't kind of get sucked into any stuff and you just kind of
I mean, of course, like sometimes 4-on-4 obviously creates more ice and more looks, right? If you're the team with the lead, you want to stay away from that, and I thought we handled it really well.
You said before that Corey Perry has some of the best in-game management you've ever seen, so you're potentially going down a man, and he does what he did there. Is that an example?
Yeah, he's probably the best in the league at it. He knows when to do what at the right times, and like I said, he does it better than anybody out there. So that's just a mature, really smart hockey play. I know it has nothing to do with hockey, but it's a hockey play.
It does.
Do you remember when you were younger playing against him and what it was like?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it was not fun. I mean, we played them in the playoffs, and so obviously he's just smart. He just knows what he's doing, right? It's his hockey IQ, in-game management, and with the puck is up there with the best that I've ever seen. So very, very fortunate to have him with us.
Leon, can you speak to the sort of how the lines 3 and 4 continue a push? There's like Filt gets an assist, Kaplan gets a goal, stuff like that.
Yeah, they were great tonight. Obviously, you need guys to score, and you need that secondary scoring. And it seems like whenever we're looking for it a little bit and searching for it, guys step up, and obviously that's what makes a good team.
Did you like the way the power play functioned tonight a little better?
Yeah, it was much better, yeah. A couple of adjustments. I thought our decision-making was better. Puck movement was better. So, yeah, it was good.
There you go. There's Leon Draisaitl. Good stuff from Draisaitl tonight. Continues to pick up the slack with Connor McDavid. Suspended. One more game on the suspension side of things for McDavid. Draisaitl tonight, a goal, 2 assists, 21:55 time on ice. Got that one on the power play, 2 shots. And then on the dot tonight, Draisaitl ended up 37.5%. So he had a rough night on the dot. All right, Cass. The Oilers now look ahead to the Buffalo Sabres. The Vancouver Canucks are out of the way, likely for the rest of the season, unless they have a good surge in the second half after they get through all the drama with Miller and Pettersson and yada, yada, yada. How do the Oilers go after the Buffalo Sabres and make sure they don't piss away a couple of points the way Vancouver did the other night?
Well, that's exactly it. You can't do that. You have to take the Buffalo Sabres seriously. For all that they have struggled this year, there's still some really good pieces and some really good young players there. And you can't be sleeping. You just can't. Now, if you're not, you should win the hockey game, but you can't have that in the back of your mind. Like you got to go out and you got to play. I mean, you do the same thing. You play the same way defensively, clog up the middle, protect the middle of the ice, you're going to be fine. And let's just hope there's no play to nachos. So
okay, good, excellent segue because Mark T put it in the nasty chat. Here is what happened with Nacho Guy. Belligerently drunk. Okay, this is coming from security. I have my sources because I know everybody in that building. Belligerently drunk. Got into it with an officer, and there was a couple around, and was tased not once, but twice because he was being a real you-know-what. So he is banned from Rogers Place, probably hates nachos, obviously hates nachos, and got the double whammy from the taser.
Oh, geez. Now, I wonder if the taser made him throw the nachos. That's going to be my operating theory. It's like, you hit with the taser, throw the nachos.
Well, apparently he was really
a strong taser.
Yeah, and earned not one, but 2 tases.
Oh, my goodness.
From EPS. Well done, because you know what? I don't know what it is, and I know what happens at stadiums around North America, the world, quite frankly. But some people just can't handle the moment, and it gets away from them, whatever they're consuming. So this gentleman, Nacho Gate, if you will, which led to a Corey Perry goal the other night in the loss to Washington, got the double whammy and deserved all of it, apparently, because he was absolutely belligerent and an absolute a-hole with the security and the cops. So there is the scoop on Mr. Nacho.
Good riddance. Yeah.
Good riddance is right. Cass, we bid you adieu tonight. We will be seeing you Saturday afternoon, correct?
I believe so.
All right. I look forward to it, my friend. Happy Friday to you. All right?
Bye, Cass.
Happy Friday.
That's our boy, Matt Kassian, with the breakdown, brought to you by South Fort Chev. Of course, they have the 2025 Equinox Tracks and Traverse. They don't anticipate those ones lasting long. They've also got the best discounts on 2025 Silverados. They won't be beat. See dealer for details, www.southfortchef.com. That was Cass with the breakdown. Text us, 780-218-9999. I hope that story lived up to the build-up because I did tease it. And, so the tase thing, the guy getting tased is legit. It's true. And he didn't just get one. He earned a second one, so he was a real you-know-what. Good job, EPS. Good job, Rogers Place Security. And when you're going to be a dummy, you expect to deal with the consequences.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, Tom, but hopefully everything was all chill tonight. Yeah, I mean, Oilers fans should be feeling good. And I know when Vancouver scored a few goals, they show shots from some Vancouver fans. It looked like they were just having fun. So hopefully nothing got crazy there. Haven't heard anything because usually we have a lot of people from the game tuning in, Tom, and no one said much, so that's good. I just want to give kudos to that Perry-Henry Kleiman line, Tommy. I mean, when we looked at it at first, when we saw it, yes, we were kind of like, interesting. Let's see if this is going to work. It did work tonight. And again, I don't think – I thought when you asked Cass about Bouchard, I thought his response was perfect. It's hard to say because the Oilers played so well and they were playing with a big lead, and he still plays the most out of any defenseman, no matter how he's playing in the game. So I wouldn't say anyone was bad tonight, though, Tom. And I'm glad to see Ekholm. They pulled back his minutes probably in that third period. Stetcher got a little bit more. Emerson got a little bit more as well. So And then up front, I mean, the Kapanen goal, just a great rush to find his own rebound. I like Podkolzin. Saw Noah Phillip chip in with an assist. He looked better tonight after only playing 5 minutes last night. On Tuesday. So all over the ice, Tom, there was a lot to like about this Oilers game tonight.
Haven't seen a single complaint, to be honest with you, and for good reason. Very satisfying victory for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's go back into the inbox. Let us know your thoughts, 780-218-9999. Chris G. texts in, says, no nachos on the ice tonight, but a pair of ruby slippers were for Garland because there is no place like home in Edmonton. And then he throws in a nacho friend. Nicely done, Chris G. JCD 780 says, looking at how the West is shaping up, the Oilers need to win the division to avoid playing Vegas or LA in round one. What are the current odds for McDavid to win the scoring race? I think I'm going to sprinkle some on it. He's going to go off. Yeah, I expect him to be shot out of a cannon when he plays against Seattle next week. But man, oh man, like I'm just looking at the stats here for individuals in the league, and you got McKinnon still up. He's at 75. Draisaitl with his 3 tonight is at 74. And then Kucherov at 70. I don't know if they have Kucherov updated. I'm just looking at out-of-town scores. I think that is the latest on Kucherov because
they didn't play tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Marner 67. McDavid at 65. I expect McDavid to climb back up there, get into I don't know. Could he catch McKinnon and Draisaitl? Maybe. Don't bet against them.
Yeah, a few more. Hontorio Mom says, can we refer to Arvidsson as a yard sale? The guy is all over the map. He had a couple tough tumbles today, Arvidsson. But again, I know we haven't been too impressed with his regular season, but this is one of those guys, Tom, that in the postseason, I think that's where he's at his best, if he can stay healthy.
If he can stay out. I mean, he missed 15 games earlier in the year.
Yeah, I'm truly believe that he's going to be a gamer in the playoffs. Donnie M says, isn't it amazing, boys? No Nurse haters for a long time now. Well, he's playing great.
That is a good point.
And we're giving him all the praise. He's been solid. And he's really turned it around from last season. And I know Oiler fans, I know the media always wanted the best for him because he does have a lot of great attributes, and he's showing them right now. And the Oilers are going to need him. And it sounds like the Oilers are going to give Klingberg a good, solid look here to see if he can solidify that top 4, Tom. If not, it sounds like they want to go out and get not a top name, but a guy that's going to fill in on that third pair. So Darnell Nurse playing the way he is, it's going to be such a benefit in the playoffs because last year, outside of Ekholm and Bouchard and Kulak, the other 3-4 guys that were rotating in struggled for the most part outside of Broberg, but he didn't play. He didn't play the whole playoffs, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, let's go to Tony from BP's. We're going to be there next week for the Detroit game. Tony says, Tommy and Hernan, haven't heard you guys talk about how great the Henrique Perry Hyman line was. Got Adam going, probably his best game by far this season. Nan, so you got into it. You gave them some love, right? And Cass did too.
I love that goal, man. Like Ekholm's just putting it in the back of the net to Henrique, but Henrique, like the quick hands to bring it out in front on the quick wraparound. I thought that was just brilliant by Adam Henrique, Tommy.
Nicely done. This one from Duffman says he wanted to know the scoop on the Nacho guy. Good pun, Duffman. Jason says, I find it funny how players hide behind the media hype thing. Come on, they love it. Who wouldn't? Seriously, like everybody wanted this to be a juiced up game.
Yeah.
Like we all did. 2 Pacific Division rivals who played a great 7-game series last season. They don't like each other. A bunch of crap happened on Saturday night. Adds to the animosity. And oh, by the way, they play each other 5 days later. Of course, the best player in the world gets suspended. The biggest, tallest defenseman on the Canucks gets suspended. I think Myers is slightly taller than Desharnais. And how do you downplay this? And yeah, you can shove it in our face. Oh, the media made it out to be a big thing. Guess what? Everybody wanted to watch this game tonight and see what happened. And on top of that, you could downplay it post-game, you could downplay it pre-game, but on the ice, these guys lived up to the hype.
Yeah, it was great. It took a while, like Kat said.
It was fantastic.
But, now Corey Perry turns to being public enemy number one in this rivalry, Tom. And
Right.
it's unfortunate that they don't play again
until
next year. Corey Perry might not even be here.
I know.
That's why they got to add more games, especially like Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary. Should be 4 or 5 times a year, Tom. I don't like these schedules that are being made right now. And imagine playing Vancouver in April, Tom, and the Oilers are fighting for first. Vancouver's fighting for a wild card spot. Man, the fireworks in that game. Ooh.
Yep. Don't worry, we get Anaheim instead. It's going to be great. Let me double check.
Those games are always so much fun, Tom.
Oh, yes. Yep. Anaheim on the 7th of April. San Jose to wrap up the season twice in the last week. 3 times in the last 3 weeks, you get to see the Sharks. So huge battles. Actually, the game on April 14th, that's going to be LA at home. That's the last prime game for the Oilers of the season. That's going to be a huge game. They get the Kings twice in April. The Golden Knights on April 1st. The Ducks on the 7th. San Jose on the 3rd, 11th, and 16th. And then a little sprinkle of the Central Division. You get St. Louis on the 9th and Winnipeg on the 13th. So that's going to be it's going to be up and down for April. And you're right. Like, who knows where the teams are going to be at by that point. I expect Edmonton to be fighting for top spot in the Pacific, but it's like you go from Vegas to the Sharks the next game, then to the Kings, then to the Ducks the next game, then to St. Louis, then to the Sharks again. Then you go into a monster back-to-back in 2 different cities. You start in Winnipeg on the Sunday. That's going to be a great game, probably. You come home to face the Kings. That's going to be juiced up for sure. And then out of all that, you get on the Wednesday to wrap up the regular season an 8:30 Edmonton start against San Jose. Wah, wah, wah. That's brutal, Nanso.
It is. I'd rather them play in Calgary, Vancouver, LA.
Yes, give me a swap of Vancouver for one of these San Jose games, please and thank you.
Tommy, I'm going to ask you because people on the nasty chat and on the inbox are asking. I'm not asking, but they're asking.
Okay.
So I want your opinion.
Okay.
Who do you start in net on Saturday?
Oh, they'll probably start Stu.
Yeah, that's what for me, it's Stuart Skinner.
And maybe Pickard again against Seattle, and then back to Stu against Detroit. I think I was talking earlier in the day with a few people at the rink, and Stu hasn't started 4 in a row all season.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm going to double check that, but that was the discussion we were having. It's like, why are we shouldn't be surprised that Calvin Pickard got Vancouver because Stewart hasn't played 4 in a row all year. Pickard usually gets mixed in there pretty quickly. So I'm just looking at that right now. Reed Wilkins will be joining us shortly. He is standing by.
Seems like it's part of a plan to keep these guys fresh, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking at it. No, Stu has not played 4 games in a row this year. And he had started the previous 3. So this was the Calvin Pickard game. So I think they go back to Stu on Saturday against Buffalo. All right, Reed Wilkins is just about ready to go. Nancy, do you want to do player of the game before we get to Reed?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
All right, let's do that. The player of the game brought to you, as always, by Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting has been a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. He's community-driven and understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. So check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Damon Bunting, now with the agency. All right, go for it, Nanso.
Yeah, I thought Pickard was solid. Draisaitl was unreal. Like the first pass from the parking lot that he made to Hyman, he just thrives. He always thrives, but even more when McDavid's out. But I'm going to give the player of the game to Corey Perry, man. He was fantastic in this game. The worm arrived today and showed all his value. He had 1 assist. He was a +3, Tommy. But more importantly, he was just around it, driving the Vancouver Canucks crazy. It's got to be Corey Perry tonight. That's your Damon Bunting player of the game for the agency.
The agency. Very nicely done, Nan. So I like it. And maybe not one of the 3 stars officially tonight, but in our hearts, he is number 1. He is the player of the game. All right. We're going to bring Reed on right now. Nanso, I want to draw your attention to Rip City Step in the inbox. He sent in a fabulous photo. Oh. I would love if we could get it on. Would you be able to pull that off? You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you just give me a bit, and I should be able to get this into the system.
Perfect. Reed and I are going to chew on this game. Let's bring him on. Reed Wilkins, host of The Reed Wilkins Show, from 3 to 6, Monday to Friday with Jay Milne right here on EST. Reed, Rick, I don't know if you caught it, but we got down to the bottom of it. Nacho Gate.
I heard it in the car on the way home.
Double taser.
So I'd heard he was tased.
Double taser.
Yeah. So you or somebody mentioned that to me yesterday, that there was the tasing rumor.
Mm-hmm. It's confirmed.
Right. So you've confirmed that it was a double tasing, but it's making the round. So you remember Jamie Nye, who was at Ched, and now he has his own show in Regina for a long time. I was on that show today, and he asked me about the person being tased. And I said, well, I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but I'm glad you've got reliable sources to confirm it. That's quite the ordeal for that Nacho gentleman. Yeah. It's not a fun way to get attention.
No.
Throwing something on the ice, which you shouldn't do, obviously.
Right.
And then
lipping off a cop.
Getting double tased. Was it still inside Rogers Place? Do we know?
Yeah. Yeah,
I guess it would have been. Yeah, they probably wouldn't. That's intense. I doubt he will be at an Oilers game, perhaps in his life.
Well, he's going to have to wear a disguise if he wants back in, because they have banned him from Rogers Place for
as he should be. To be fair, like that's I don't like that. I think the hats for a hat trick. I guess Florida had the rats there for a while, but the stuff with throwing stuff on the field, I don't find it funny when somebody runs on a field at an Elks game or any football game. Like who was it? It's happened a few times, but was it Tony Washington for the Elks that drilled the guy? And it happened in a Western playoff game once between Winnipeg and BC. A guy ran on the field in Winnipeg, and I think one of the BC defensive backs just drilled him in the head. It's dangerous. Like you do not want to be taken down by a pro athlete if you're a drunk fan running onto a field or jumping onto the ice or something. Anyway,
to wrap this portion of the conversation up, there was that one fan at the Grey Cup, the lady who ran on streaking. She was holding her coat, dropped her cell phone on the field, and then picked it up and gave everybody a full moon. So don't do it. Not good.
Don't bother.
Not good. All right. Okay, we're gonna dive into this, but the game. But Rip City Step had a great screen grab. Hernan's got it. It's ready to go. What the hell's going on here, Reed Rick? Let's put it up, and then let's give the play-by-play for those that are listening. You are
that's me.
There you are, talking to Leon Draisaitl. He looks angry, like a good German would be. And then you look like you're yelling at him, potentially scolding him. What's being said here?
I was not scolding him.
Okay.
That just happens to be a very interesting moment to capture us. I don't even know if that's the question. If I was talking at the time, I did ask a question about depth contributions. Unfortunately, Tom, I wind up sometimes in a photo with a player or in a shot on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily like that, but as you know, the Oilers get a lot of coverage, and there are a lot of people gathered around players.
Yeah.
So if there are 4 or 5 TV cameras, you can't stand across from the player. If you stand close to the cameras, well, I'm not very tall and my arms don't reach very far, so I could be in a position where I can't get the mic close enough to the player's mouth to get good audio.
Right.
So, and if it's a 4 or 5, 6 minute scrum, sometimes that your arm gets very tired.
It does.
So I make a beeline for to be off a player's elbow or shoulder, and I live with the negative result of sometimes being in shots like this. So I know that's a funny picture, but that's the serious answer as to why people might see me positioned like that. I really have no desire to be in photos or be on television. And I will say this, even though he's one of my best friends, I do not like the scrum lurkers segment that Jay does. I know sometimes when I'm in a picture like that, a buddy will say, scrum lurker. I'm not lurking. I'm participating in the scrum. I'm one of the more frequent question askers. Like, yes. I'm participating in the scrum. Like, to me, a scrum lurker is someone who's like hovering, or maybe they're in the back and they don't realize a scrum is going on. So that is a funny picture. I was not yelling at Leon. I don't even know if I was talking in it. I did talk. I think it's just kind of an awkward moment. Well, I'm often kind of a funny looking guy, but that's why people will see me in those shots, which again, I don't take any pleasure in, but I'd sooner be in a good position to do my job as efficiently as possible.
If it makes you feel any better, I just sent one over to Hernan that Luke Gazdic sent me yesterday, and I was like, oh.
Is it of you?
Yeah, it's me with Knobloch the other day, so I'm guilty of it as well. If it makes you feel any better.
Yeah.
All right,
like I said, there's only so many spots to go, and I'd sooner to get better audio, the best audio quality possible.
And we don't. You and I, we each have our EST mic, but we don't have the extender like the TV guys. And I miss the extender beyond belief. I love having the extender, but when we're doing it without a camera and we're not trying to be close to a camera, you don't really need an extender. So that's the situation we deal with. Okay, the situation tonight, though, Riedrich, is a 6-2 Oilers victory. They get vengeance on the Canucks. It gets feisty. The fans tonight were great. All in all, to me, that was a very thorough Oilers performance. How do you sum it up?
Well, the first 32 minutes was complete domination by the Oilers. I thought the Oilers were ready to play. They were poised. Every line was contributing. They had a lot of energy. They moved the puck well. They checked well. There was very little sustained pressure from Vancouver. And I think I got to look at this, as a whole game. The Vancouver Canucks were awful. I mean, fool me if they're fighting for a playoff spot. I mean, that was Tom, I honestly think through the first 32 minutes, that was as bad as a team has played against the Oilers this season. Like that, they were probably worse than when the Oilers shut out Pittsburgh here, at least through half the game. I mean, that was a completely disinterested and disengaged Vancouver squad. Like, kudos to them that they finally started skating and working in the last 8 minutes of the second period. But that was a shockingly dull performance by Vancouver. Now, having said that, if the team plays like that, the Oilers got to jump on them, and they did. Leon was brilliant again. I think again he's the Hart Trophy leader right now. Hyman, without the bubble, finishes a couple chances. The power play looked better and did get a goal. I mean, maybe the first one wasn't as good, but then I think the final, 3 were pretty good. I mean, Henrique finishes a play. I know I joke about the U of A stuff with Philp, and I put it in the nasty chat. I thought that was Philp's best game.
Yep.
And he got an assist, but even on top of that, he was skating well and he was physical. Like, he used his body to his advantage a couple times to clear the puck, a couple times in on the forecheck. So really, really encouraging. There's not much to complain about. I mean, sure, okay, they gave up 2 goals in 2.5 minutes. Yes, you'd sooner that didn't happen, but it was 5-0. I mean, They had some cushion. And then a relatively quiet third period. And then the advantage of having Corey Perry. I heard you talking about it, that scrum when Garland. And first of all, I thought the Oilers handled that well. Because even without the McDavid stuff from the other night, Garland is the type of player you'd like to smack in the face. Right?
Yes.
Like, no, but he's like, I called him a rat on my show. I mean that as a compliment. Like, he's 5'10". He probably isn't even 5'10".
He's not, no.
To play in the NHL at his size, like, you got to be a wiener, right? So when he pokes at Skinner, that's when you jump him. Like, you don't go and try to fight him or slash him unnecessarily. That's when you can jump him. And then the best thing that Perry did, and this is something that the Oilers lack, and quite frankly, a lot of teams lack, because it's a hard thing to do, to put yourself into an aggressive situation and then think. A lot of times in a scrum, the players look like, oh, who's this? Like, they're face washing wherever they can, for Perry to go to the opposite side of the scrum and find Quinn Hughes. That's how that needs to be handled. Okay. Stetcher got on Garland. Somebody else got on, maybe Nurse got on Garland. And then Perry realizes, like, oh, there's Quinn Hughes. Like, I need to at least throw him to the ice. That's good. That's good gamesmanship. That's why Perry is despised by the 31 other teams he doesn't play for at any given time.
He puts on a masterclass in rat tonight.
Yes.
He downplays it in the post-game presser. I was a little bit surprised, but that's him continuing that ratty type of behavior and attitude. I suppose to him the game wasn't over until the scrum was over. But the way Edmonton was able to accomplish this victory, the way he was able to play it perfectly like that, classic Perry, like you said. Riedrich, is this team in some ways, like, do they have an answer to any type of game? I guess is where I'm going with this.
Well, I think so. I still... There's still going to be the questions about the physicality if it becomes a really bruising game. But who even plays that way? Like...
Florida.
I watched the first period of Florida and LA last night. They didn't play that way. Like, they don't do it all the time. But yes, I get it. And I got some of that feedback on my show too. Was that the only reason Florida won the Stanley Cup? No. Yeah, it's a good point, Tom. I mean, I guess big picture, I guess you could say, would you still like a better fourth line? Sure, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I do. But the part of the reason I think the Oilers can win any type of game is now because of their maturity. They don't take dumb chances. They don't panic. Then part of the reasons they had those comebacks last week, and I know their luck finally ran out, but when they had those comebacks, it's because they weren't trying to get it back all at once. They weren't down 3-0 and were looking for a 4-pointer. You know, they were like, okay, just keep playing. We're going to have to scratch away one at a time. So to me, that poise and that understanding of game situations is as big a reason why they can win any type of game as much as the talent level or skill set of the guys on the roster.
It's the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Tom Gazzola, Reed Wilkins, and the Latino Heat, Hernan Salas with you. You can text us 780-218-9999. Big Oilers victory over Vancouver 6-2. The other thing that Corey Perry said is he downplayed us as media, fans too, I suppose, getting amped up for this game. And that's why I was saying he continued being a rat in the post-game too. This game lived up to the billing, Reed. It had everything that all of us who are fans of the game, cover the game, saw what happened last Saturday. It had everything we wanted it to. So I mean, I'm not buying what he was saying, and like, why downplay it? Because it was phenomenal. I wish he just would have said, "Hey, it just came to a head," you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, it didn't have a full-on brawl, I guess. But some people wanted that, but the situation with Bluger, like. But again, why would Bluger do that?
Because they were so mad at him, and that's a masterclass in
right. But again, I'm saying, I get it, but I'm saying, like, think you're on a power play. You could have actually made it 5-3 with 13 minutes left,
right,
or however much time was left. But it's good to have a guy like that on your side, and even just some of the other participation, Nurse, I think, had somebody in a headlock at some point, or
got in it with Desharnais a bit.
Boy, what a rough night for Vinny. My goodness.
Awful.
Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of respect for him still, but oh my goodness, that was rough. Even without the penalties, that was a very rough night for Vinny. And he doesn't get any favors being paired with Forbort,
No.
So.
Okay, you have been talking about this maybe being a portion of the season where the Oilers could take a step back, and they still have a bunch of games left on this homestand. How do you look at Saturday afternoon, Buffalo Sabres coming to town, and they ruined the party in Vancouver a couple nights ago?
Yeah, well, I was worried that it could be 500-ish homestand. Like I didn't think they were going to go 1-5 or 0-6 or anything. But if they play like I really liked how they bounced back tonight and were just under control and just did everything at an appropriate level. Mm-hmm. Now Buffalo lost in Calgary. Did it end up 4-2? That was the last show. That was the last score I saw. You should be able to beat 5-2. Buffalo, but don't let up. Obviously with the way Draisaitl is playing, like you miss McDavid. Don't get me wrong, but man, oh man, he is just so willing to take the puck and just make magic with it. So just don't have self-inflicted wounds. Like, be ready for what the other team is going to bring, and then maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe they could go 5-1 or 4-2 on this homestand.
Hey, lots of hockey left on this homestand. We'll see what happens Saturday. I did this to you. I put the picture up of you in the scrum to start this segment. It's only fair that we take a look at my scrum lurking. Nanso, if you don't mind, he says he's got it ready, and Luke Gazdick sent it in. There we go. There's me. Gaz texted this to me the other day. I have sad face. I am intently listening to Chris Knobloch say something that probably wasn't very interesting, and it happens to the best of us. That's not yours is more intense. I like the fire in your eyes more than my kind of blasé, like, oh, it's Tuesday. I guess.
And just read Rib City Step says, I don't think it was bad or even overly interesting. I was just excited to see Reed on TV.
Oh, it was an
action shot. I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't think he thought it was. I didn't think he thought it was bad or anything. But I mean, there is, for some of my friends, there is a humorous value to them where they're like, "Oh, you're working,"
Happens all the time, buddy.
But see, you're in that same spot. Then you're almost behind Knobloch because there's so many people.
Yes,
around him. Like that's.
I was just like, okay.
I mean, there's been as many as 7 cameras in scrums for Oilers coaches and players. It is generally they're the biggest day-to-day story in the city. Like, no disrespect to politics and City Hall and people on strike, but like day after day, there are people covering the team.
Disrespect to City Hall and politics. I don't care about that stuff.
Okay.
I'm kidding, but I'm not. Anyway, Riedrich. Beautiful stuff as always, my friend. Stay handsome, and I'll see you tomorrow at the station, okay?
All right, see you, Tom. See you, Hernan.
Bye, Reed.
There's Reed Wilkins, host of the Reed Wilkins Show. 3 to 6, Monday to Friday, with the glue guy, Jay Milne. Awesome to have Riedrich at our station. Awesome to have what I think is the best afternoon show in the city. And awesome to have the crew that we do and the listeners and viewers that we have, too. Hernan Salas, thank you for putting those photos up. Adds a nice little wrinkle into what has been a fun night. I think Oilers fans are super pumped up, as they should be. Now it is the Buffalo Sabres, Saturday at 2 o'clock. We're on the air at 1, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Hello Hockey prior to that from 10 to noon. And then we'll have an hour. You'll have the Pipeline Show with Keith Flaming. Then we'll go into the pregame show. Hernan, I was going to ask you before we say goodnight, your final thoughts. And then how are you looking at Saturday against Buffalo as well?
Fun night, Tom. Like we anticipated it. I mean, not the fireworks that I think a lot of people thought, but still fireworks. It was a fun game. Oilers were the better team by far. It wasn't even close. And Draisaitl just continues to play at an elite level. Great to see. But like you've been saying, Reed, Cass, we've all been saying it. Don't take the Sabres lightly. You need those 2 points. You're competing for the division, so the Oilers got to come out on Saturday and finish off the week strong. 2-1 is not a bad record without Connor McDavid, and then you get your captain back. So looking forward to Saturday. Happy it's a 2 o'clock game, but like I said, the Oilers can't take them lightly. Come out with the same effort you had tonight, and it's going to be another win for the Oilers, Tommy.
Buffalo 3-2 victory in Vancouver on Tuesday. They fall 5-2 in Calgary at the Saddledome tonight. We'll see if the Oilers can take care of business at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. It has been a very fun night. Oilers fans get what they want, a little bit of vengeance. They made Connor Garland bleed his own blood. They take down Quinn Hughes. Corey Perry, a masterclass in the worm. Classic Corey Perry. Leon Draisaitl leads the way offensively. Calvin Pickard steady in at Edmonton. 2 points, one back of the Vegas Golden Knights. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. For Reed Wilkins, for Matt Kassian, For the Latino Heat, Hernan, Salas, I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Stay nasty. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everyone.